In Mexico, 7 out of every 10 Mexicans born in poverty will not be able to overcome that condition throughout their lives. Mexicans who live in the southern states of the country are the most affected by inequality. This region has the poorest results in matters of health, education, and income. Due to this situation, many families migrate from the south in order to access better economic opportunities in the northern states of Mexico. Many of them find working for agricultural companies a good option to leverage their income. They work from up to 3 to 9 months doing the hard work, from seeding to picking and packing. Some companies provide them housing, health services, daycare, and education. And education is what I want to talk about. Companies provide the infrastructure for children to attend school, and teachers, equipment, and materials are provided by governmental programs. Children attend school in the villages from these agricultural companies, but quality education is not guaranteed. Even though the students' attendance rate in rural communities has increased over the last decade, the level of knowledge and skills these youth need in order to access the labor force has not improved. Education in Mexico is in a critical state. The system is failing girls and boys by not providing the right to quality education, especially for the children living in rural areas. In 2014, it was estimated that there were 326,000 agricultural migrant children and adolescents, and that only 49,000 of them attended school. Through my thesis project, I wanted to learn more about the gaps in the educational service provided in agricultural communities in northern Mexico and the roles that the different stakeholders play in the system. I focused my research on middle school students ages 12 to 15 years old because this is the age range when school dropout is the highest. I partnered with Farmers Best, a fruit and vegetable wholesaler and supplier located in Sinaloa, Mexico. They employ around 14,000 temporary farm workers yearly who come from the southern states in Mexico and indigenous communities. Around 1,200 kids go to school in their villages each year. They receive kindergarten, elementary, and middle school education. The motivation from these kids to continue studying comes from what they see and hear in their communities. Go to school so you don't end up working in the sun. Study to become someone in life. Culturally and historically, in rural communities, education has not been prioritized, often because the incentives are not in place to encourage families to seek out schooling. Why do youth drop out of school in middle school? Because they want to increase their household income, because they want to start a family, or because they cannot afford the expenses to continue studying. Without a clear path that leads them to a different life than the one they know, it is very difficult for them to stay motivated to pursue a higher education degree that will give them access to greater social and economic development. My thesis question was, how might we create an experience that motivates middle school students in rural communities to continue with their education and build an engaging path for their future? We develop a set of creative motivational tools that will support, expose, and activate students to create an empowered vision of their future self. Our guiding principles were design for the user, recognizing origin and contents, is practical to use and with low budget materials. The skills that will be practiced to the different models are self-reflection, self-esteem and self-worth, collaboration, and problem-solving skills. Youth can break their own story, and there are tools to help them do that, not only by succeeding with their education, but to be the best version of their own humanity. This is the toolkit we developed, and it has a card game and workshops that I will explain later. There are three modules. The first one is called Dare to Dream, the second one is Reimagine Your Story, and the third one, Be the Change. Dare to Dream is a set of reflective activities where youth will get a better sense of who they are and how they fit into their family, community, and broader world. They will think about what kind of adult, teenager, and person they want to be. Students will get a better understanding of themselves and their cultural identity and what is most important to them. This is the identity wheel where students will get a better understanding of who they are. And through this worksheet, they will practice what they value the most. As students will learn about the life stories of role models with whom they can identify and the values that they have. Through role model cards, a value card deck, and a reflection worksheet, well, they will ask questions about what are the values of these role models and what are they doing to practice those values. The third activity is a journal of the life canvas, where they will write and reflect about their dreams and what they want to be in the future. The second module, it consists of that teachers have to invite a role model to talk with their students. This will connect students with role models for their community so they can question their beliefs and their values. These are a set of reflection activities for teachers to better choose which role model to bring to their communities. And this second worksheet is for students to reflect of what inspired them about the speaker and important questions they want to ask to the invited speaker. The third activity is a hackathon called Be the Change, where students will develop skills to think creatively about how they can make a positive change in their communities using the Design for Change methodologies. These methodologies consist in a creative problem-solving skills and practice where they have to feel, imagine, do, and share the changes they can see in their communities. I want this toolkit to live in every classroom in every rural school in Mexico to activate teachers, directors, and agricultural companies to seek other ways to teach students. I want to make social and emotional learning, education, and exposure to role models the new norm. This is a call for educational system and agricultural companies to commit to this youth education and create structures for the children of migrant farm workers to break the cycles that bring them into poverty. Because the school we want should be always proportional to the size of our dreams.